The Gamasutra job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: Helsinki, Finland. Housemarque has a track record of 20 years of developing top-notch games with focus on tight gameplay, impeccable audio-visual execution, and technical excellence. We think we are a perfect workplace for talented people with interest in self-development and passion for games. We are working on exceptional new projects, and we want you to play a part in making them happen. Our company's purpose is to, we offer the job. The ideal candidate will have a strong game design background, multiple game credits on the passion for shipping high-quality products with a fun, collaborative team. Candidates should have phenomenal communication skills, proven leadership experience, a strong design background, and a stellar track record of shipping AAA games. Responsibilities. Requirements. PL United States says. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. The 2019 Game Developers Conference will feature an exhibition called GDCDEDICATEDTOGAMES that uses alternative control schemes and interactions. Gamasutra will be talking to the developers of each of the games that have been selected for the showcase. Extra Reality Codebreaker gives players what appears to be an OTV, tasking them with interacting with 16 puzzles on different channels. Finding the answer to those puzzles is just the beginning, as players must then look at the information they have found and work it out in the real world. Gamasutra spoke with Paul Ledwich, developer of Extra Reality Codebreaker, to learn about the difficulties faced in designing puzzles around a single input. We also talked about the developer's interest in engaging the player outside of the game world, bringing play beyond the screen, by drawing the input interact into reality. My name is Paul Ledwich, and this was a solo project. I did all of the programming, hardware engineering, puzzle design, art, and woodworking. Extra Reality Codebreaker is a puzzle game involving finding hidden codes in strange, interactive television channels. There are two dials on the box. The top dial selects the puzzle, while the bottom dial is what you use to solve it. Each puzzle leads to a 5 or 6 letter English word, which is your hidden code for that puzzle. I have been reading a lot about sculptors recently, and I was struck by an essay by Donald Judd called Specific Objects. In it, one of the points he argues is that we have done art a disservice by placing it behind a frame, separating it from the viewer. His solution to this was to create objects of solid materials that were placed in a room, in a way that forced the viewer to engage with the object. I liked the idea of performing a lift like that to get a player to engage with an input interaction. But instead of moving the game scene out from behind the screen into the real world, like via AR, I thought that I would try lifting the whole input interaction, and have the player mimic the interaction outside of the game. I wanted to design a game that explored how an input device can be used to control something. In order to do that, I needed a puzzle architecture that was flexible enough to accommodate a large number of different mechanics. using English words as the answers, along with finding figure out breaking codes, seem to be the solution to those issues. The game is designed to explore dial interactions. As a result, the dial needs to be used in as many different ways as possible. In general, I started with the possible way for a dial to control something, and built the puzzle around it. The tricky part there is that you need a way to extend the interaction in order to design the second step of each puzzle, which was not always possible. I really enjoy the design of old television sets, especially the wooden ones. This game does not need very many inputs, so it made sense to make the design simple and minimalist. I wanted to make the first step of the puzzle straightforward so players would have something to latch onto when they started in the puzzle. The second step is harder, but in order to make the game more approachable, I created 16 sets of laminated objects that act as souvenirs. They can be written on with a dry erase marker, and they serve as a guide to the second step. In addition, no puzzle requires sound or color to solve. I wanted to make the game as accessible as possible. I made a game called Rip, which was a logic puzzle game that tried to let solvers down an interesting solve path by carefully mapping out information at every step of the puzzle. It was showcased at PAX East a few years ago, with the indie meta booth. Extra Reality Codebreaker is ran on a Raspberry Pi. It's coded in C, and uses the experimental Opingo drivers on the board. I coded it on my Mac in Zoot, using Opingo 3 on GLXL 330 the shaders. The Raspberry Pi only runs Opingo 2.1 on GLXL 120. However, so every time I have coded a new feature, or written a new shader, I have had to port the code from the newer version to the older one. This is definitely not the best way to do this. The case is made from African palm oak wood, which gives it a nice orange color. The front panel is laser engraved maple. I am also building 2 other boxes out of purple heart and winch. Unique controllers enable unique interactions. Without a standalone box with a dial, there would be no way to perform the lift mentioned above, which is what the whole game is designed around. The puzzle mechanics and game would not make sense with a different type of controller. 93 more games have been approved by the Online Games Ethics Committee of China, signaling the third wave of media authorized by the country's gaming regulator since December 2018. Once again, the list of approved titles seems to exclude any releases from Chinese tech giant Tencent and NetEase. This comes a few weeks after Chinese regulators began reviewing games submitted under license consideration in China, moving forward to the licensing freeze that had halted game approvals for the majority of 2018. As the South China Morning Post reports, license approvals are reportedly granted in the order they are received, so it could be likely that games from Tencent and NetEase are still on a waiting list. Overall, license approvals are faster and bigger in number than market expectation. So keep on winking, and now Bao An, analysts with Shanghai-based R&D Securities. In a research note, we are certain that the industry is turning positive. The analysts also said that the latest round of license approvals include titles submitted for reviews in April last year. As of right now, there's no telling if games from either Tencent or NetEase will be included in the next round of approvals. But there is no doubt that the freeze has continued to negatively impact both companies. Building games around popular licensed properties in TV and film has long been tricky business. But at the 2019 Game Developers Conference in March, you will hear how the team behind the hit mobile gamer Game of Thrones Fund success while working with stakeholders on one of the world's biggest TV shows. As part of a AD 2019 business marketing tract on Reigns, Game of Thrones, A Song of Fire and License, game designer Francois Elliott will join Devolver, Digital's Nigel Lowry, and HBO's Jeff Peters on the Wilson Prize onstage to discuss how smaller developers and publishers can work with well-known IPs to create smart,